Hey everybody, Matt here with Mercury TV, and today I want to do a super quick comparison between these two mice. The Razer Deathadder V3 Pro, which came out about 10 days ago, and the glorious Model D, which is what everybody's comparing it to. Now, long story short, if you don't own either of these yet, then it's going to be a tough decision that comes down essentially to price and aesthetics, because dimensionally and functionally these things are exactly the same. And if, like me, you already owned the Model D, I can't recommend you go and spend another $150 to get the Deathadder V3 Pro. Now, that's not to say this isn't a phenomenal mouse, because it is. It's freaking incredible. Razer has finally created a mouse for people with larger hands, right-handed, that is as good, if not better, than the Model D. The Model D has been my king of mice for over a year now. It's been my daily driver. Every time I try a different mouse, I find myself coming back to this. And this is probably the first mouse that I could see dethroning it. But the deal is, I don't need it. It's $150 for something I already have, right? I'm paying $150 for 5 grams less, and I don't think that that's a great price. And not only that, I just think $150 is too much for what you get in the package, because quite literally all you get is the mouse and a charging cable, all right? The dock that used to come with like the Viper Ultimate, that's not around anymore. So it's $150 for this and this alone, right? So if money's no object to you, and you don't have either of these, and you just want the best ultralight, large-handed, right-handed gaming mouse out there, go buy this. I'm not going to not recommend it. I'm not going to knock it. It's a great mouse. It's just, why should you buy it over the Model D, right? That's kind of the entire question. Why should you buy this over the Model D? And the answer is 5 grams. I've used them both extensively. I can't understand a reason why. I mean, I know that YouTubers right now are going off about how great this mouse is. Again, it is. But for how long, okay? I don't know how much you follow stuff, but Glorious has announced that they have a Model D Pro version coming out in October of this year. It's going to be this for $50 less. So I'm willing to bet right now that in October, you're going to have all the exact same reviewers on the front page talking about how the Model D Pro is better than this. So if you can take one thing away from this video, just one thing. If you have to have one right now, the choice is yours, but it might be a great idea to just wait a couple of months, A, to see if this goes on sale, but B, to see if the glorious Model D Pro ends up being a better mouse, because it's going to be lighter, like I think by 1 or 3 grams. But other than that, I just don't see why right now you should go and buy this mouse. So anyways, we're going to get into the video. We're going to break it down typical way that I do. We're going to go over the build quality, the dimensions, the differences between the mice, right? Because there are some subtle differences between the two. What you get in the box, which I basically just covered, and the software, and then just kind of wrap it all up, all right? So going into the build quality on these mice, both of them are phenomenally well built, and I can't knock either one or take away anything from either one of those on that, all right? The biggest difference is that the glorious Model D Wireless has this honeycomb design, whereas the Deathadder V3 Pro does not. Now, does that make a bit of a difference? Not really. Some people talk about the fact that one sounds hollower than the other. I don't find any of that crap when it comes to the Deathadder V3 Pro. It sounds great. It feels great, right? When it comes to the buttons, the textures, all of that, they're, like I said, pretty much identical, all right? They both have very large side buttons on them. They both have nice functional scroll wheels that have very defined steps in each one of them. The big difference, I would say, would be between the left and right clicks, all right? The Deathadder V3 has these heavy switches in them that feel very pronounced, and you'll know what I'm talking about the second that you get your hands on one of them, which is like, just, you can't click it as fast as you would any other mouse you've used before. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I can't really tell. I had no noticeable difference in the games that I play. Games like World of Warships, Destiny, Call of Duty, whatever. This didn't affect my performance, but I did read one review on Amazon where someone said it made playing a MOBA a little bit more difficult. I don't know if I believe that or not, but just something to consider, right? The other thing that you need to consider about this mouse is that even though it's called a Deathadder, this is in no way, shape, or form a Deathadder, okay? They call it the Deathadder V3, but I don't understand why they did that, because if you've ever used a Razer product, you know what the Deathadder looks like. This is the V2, all right? They have a very iconic, defined shape, and this just isn't it, all right? This is just a Model D that's painted black with the Razer logo on it. So if you're expecting to buy this at 63 grams, you're not getting this, all right? This shape is gone, which I'm not going to knock them for that. That's not a negative per se, but it's just something you need to be aware of, right? The flared out right side, the rubberized grips, that's gone. You can add Rubberized grips, they do come in the box, which I think is very nice that they include those, but it's just not the same thing. So I would have really preferred that Razer just come with a new name, pick a new snake, right? And go with that when you're coming up with this new mouse, because this thing is awesome in its own regard, right? I think they should separate this from the previous line that it came from, okay? Now, the deal is, even though they both feel great, neither one of these feel like they're $150 great. I don't think I've ever held a mouse or a piece of plastic in my hand and said, oh shit, yeah, this is 150 bucks. This is awesome, right? I don't get that from either one of these. So just be aware of that. I'm going to try to quit harping on the pricing so much, but it's very hard to let that go, because I feel like when we buy stuff like this, we are enabling Razer and other companies to just say, oh shit, 63 gram piece of plastic, 150 bucks, 200 bucks, right? Like, where's it going to stop, right? CPUs used to cost $350. You're okay paying a third of a price for a fucking CPU for a mouse? Whatever, I'll get over that. We can move past that, right? So build quality wise, they are both built great, no knocks for either one of these, okay? Dimensionally, like I said, the exact same mouse. And if you don't believe me, here you go. The Razer Deathadder V3 Pro comes in at 63 grams. It is 128 millimeters long, 68 millimeters wide, and 44 millimeters high. The glorious Model D wireless comes in at 68 grams, 5 grams heavier. 128 millimeters long, 67 millimeters wide, 40 millimeters high. So, when it's all said and done, you're talking about a 4 millimeter and 5 gram difference. So if that is worth $70 to you, fine. I disagree with you, but fine, right? So moving into the differences between these two mice, which are very few and far in between, all right? The first one is going to be the lack of a DPI switch. Now, like I mentioned, this thing is a huge departure from the Deathadder line, and that's another thing that's missing. They decided to put the DPI toggle on the bottom of the mouse and combine it with the power on and off button. So you hold it for power and you press it for DPI toggle. Now it comes with the 5 default stages that every single mouse comes with these days. And there is a little light here to let you know which one you pick. In Razer Synapse, the software, you can see which light corresponds with each DPI step. But if you're using it on your computer, you can just easily tell. If you're someone who goes at 800 or 400, you're gonna notice immediately which one you're at, right? So the fact that they decided to put it on the bottom versus up top was a little bit weird to me. I always prefer it up top, because if you're anyone who likes to hot swap between the two of them, how the hell are you gonna do that with the new Deathadder V3 Pro, right? Is that a selling point, a make or break point? Absolutely not. But it is something that's nice to have, right? If you're someone who's playing a shooter and you want to swap from 800 down to 400 to snipe or whatever, like, I feel like you should have that option to just press this and be done with it versus, oh shit, what am I? No, that's weird to me, especially on a $150 mouse that they're calling a Deathadder, right? So something to consider there. The second thing is going to be the lack of RGB. Now, for some people, a lack of RGB is a selling point. For some people, it's not. Either way, it's going to increase your battery life, because all RGB does for an ultralight wireless mouse is demolish the battery life, okay? I charged this thing last night. I've used it all day. It is now 8 o'clock in the evening. It has 92% battery life still left on it, all right? That's amazing. There is zero chance in hell any ultralight mouse with lighting enabled would be anywhere near that level of battery at this point in the day, right? So that is cool. And the other cool thing is, technically, since it has no RGB, if you don't want to, you don't have to download Razer Synapse. Is it an awful piece of software? No, but in general, I'm just annoyed to shit by the fact that every single peripheral you plug into your computer has to have its own piece of software. Like, we get it, guys. You have your own software. Well, if you don't want to download Synapse, you don't have to. You have your 5 DPI steps that come with default. The only thing you would need to get the software for would be to change your polling rate or liftoff distance. But if you don't care about those things, then yeah, you can skip out on the software because you have no RGB to control with this. So that's kind of cool, in my opinion. I don't need RGB on a mouse. My hand covers it up anyways, right? The only other real difference is going to be the skates that come equipped. Now, I thought it was marketing buzzwords. I thought it was just everybody else kind of just bullshitting their way through it. No, the skates on this thing are freaking incredible. It glides like butter. This mouse mat I'm using is old, it's dirty, it's shitty. This thing glides across it like nothing else. Definitely better than the Model D in terms of glide. Now, don't get me wrong, this is much older, but still, the skates on this are impressive. So, like I said, man, the differences are very few and far in between. DPI switch, RGB, and the skates, right? So in terms of what you get in the box, you get the exact same things in each. One just costs $70 more, all right? In both, you get the ultralight mouse, you get the nice braided light charging cable, you get this little dongle, and you get your wireless receiver, okay? The only real difference is going to be the fact that with the Deathadder Pro, they include some grip tape for your left and right mouse buttons and the side. And with the Model D wireless, you do get these additional little skates to add on the bottom if you want to add those on, which I ended up adding eventually. Other than that, exact same contents of the box, all right? The cords are a tiny bit different. The Razer one is definitely a little bit thicker and has a higher quality feeling to it. This is a much lighter and thinner feeling cable. Do I prefer one over the other? Absolutely not. The only thing I will say that was a little bit nice is that Razer has a regular USB-C cable, whereas, again, Glorious has that kind of proprietary deal. It will only plug in to the Model D wireless. You're not going to be able to use it with anything else. So it's something to consider, but not something that should impact your buying decision. All right, so doing a super quick comparison of the software here. Inside of Razer Synapse, you have the ability to change your button mapping. You can go in, set your DPI stages, your polling rate, and then mess with the power settings, which is the exact same thing that you can do inside of the Glorious Core software for the Model D. You can change your lighting, change your key bindings, and then obviously change your performance. I have both of these set the exact same. Software is fine. I never have either of them running. They do their job, and that's all you can ask. All right, so trying to wrap all this up, right? Like I said at the very beginning of the video, if money is no object to you and you don't own either one of these, then the Deathadder V3 Pro is a phenomenal mouse, and I don't think you'll regret buying it. I think the biggest thing is that you, as the viewer, have to decide, are the differences between these two mice worth $70? That's it, okay? Honeycomb design versus full shell, 5 grams, 4 millimeters, DPI switch, RGB lighting. Is that package $70 to you? In my mind, no fucking way. Absolutely not. But maybe to you it is, and I'm not going to knock you for that. I'm just saying, personally, I think you should pick one of these up or just wait. I would just wait, because what's been proven time and time again is that if you just wait, whatever you want, everything you want in a mouse will be released, okay? There were people who just wanted Razer to release a Model D that's painted black with the Razer logo on it, and it's lighter. And they did it. They did it, right? But I really do believe that in 2 or 3 months' time, we're going to have this exact mouse for $50 less. So I think that's kind of the thing to consider, but I don't want to discourage anybody. If you have your heart set on this, if you love the Deathadder brand name, if you love Razer, if you have $10,000 to go and blow, then fine, go get the mouse. I'm not going to knock you for that. But again, I would just advise caution, patience, right? But again, both of them, great mice. I'm happy I have them both, but I'm definitely not going to be keeping this because I can't justify it. It's not $70 better than the Model D. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the section below. If there's anything I could have done better, please let me know. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give me a thumbs down. I'll leave some codes for some games here at the end like I always do. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Talk to you next time.